It's Uno Neo back with another video. We're about to jump straight into it as we always do. If you're not having a good day, it's not too late to turn the energy around, as I like to always say. Today we are going to be talking about feminine energy and basically the difference, how to differentiate between the different feminine energies, how to know when you're dealing with a certain type of feminine energy and how to handle it as well, right? So the first energy that I would like to speak about is, or tap into, is Eve's energy, right? Eve is naturally known as someone who is intellectual, rational, ambitious, brave. She tackles and goes after the things that she wants out of life. Usually she's chasing men with money, right? She uses her power, her God-given powers, to manipulate men, to gain power over him, to gain power and control, to make herself feel more than, basically. The reason why she abuses the manpower, the reason why she goes towards the men to do this, is because she knows that man, within the order of the way that the universe works, has to go to the high priestess, right? He gets all of his knowledge, he gets all of his teachings, his ways of being through the high priestess, from the high priestess. This is the only way of being able to grow in between the high priestess and the Sophia energy, right? And so the Eve knows that she has to get to this masculine in order to receive this goddess type of energy, right? She's not able to obtain it on her own. So she ciphers through the masculine energy because she knows that if a high priestess or the Sophia was to see her or engage with her, she would swallow her alive, right? She would make her grow. She would make her see herself, so that way she has no choice but to rise, right? So what she does is she hides herself through the man. She was made by Sophia, right? And she's underneath the high priestess and goddess type of energy, right? She is the fallen woman, the womb, right? The universe given to man. She gives the universe to man freely, right? And her reason for doing this again is because she wants to conquer over and control. She's trying to arise over Sophia and the high priestess, but it's not in her placement or ranking to do this. She has to have initiations within her spiritual state before she can reach that high level, right? She's very deceptive as well. She's very deceptive to men and women in general. She's even deceptive to herself, right? She lowers the divine masculine frequency through sex, through sexual energy, through harvesting anything in the materials when it comes to this man, right? She uses sex to basically cipher the energy. She uses sex to cipher Sophia's energy as well, because again, she knows that the masculine is getting all of his energy from Sophia. He has to, in order for him to rise and learn, right? And she understands in order for her to rise, she has to get that energy as well. So she is taking it, she's stealing from the universal energy, from the universal ways that things are naturally supposed to be, right? And she thinks that she can get away with it. But this is where the universe then comes in and awakens Sophia and the high priestess to what's actually going on. And then she goes in spiritually, Sophia and the high priestess goes in spiritually to destroy and recreate Eve, right? So she basically they have to take Eve down and show her herself in order for Eve to either rise or lower within ranking more. Because if you come up, it's like a spiritual battle. If you choose to start the fight, initiate a fight within the spiritual realm, and you lose that fight, you knock yourself down a few ranks, right? So Eve sometimes knock herself down within position and rank, instead of rising herself to the next position, which is goddess / high priestess type of energy, if you are initiated to become a high priestess. Because again, you can't just say that you are this divine feminine woman and you have not been given the ranking, you have not been spiritually ranked to become a divine feminine. You have not went through all of the trials and tribulations that you need to learn from yourself in order to be or become that, right? Her goal is to keep the divine masculine asleep, again, because she needs Sophia's energy. She needs the high priestess energy. The only way that she can get the high priestess energy is through that sleep divine masculine. If the divine masculine was to wake up, he wouldn't even deal with you, right? That's that. The next one is Lilith, right? Lilith has Lilith has a very jealous energy and tendency to her, right? She's jealous of the purity of the prophets, and she's jealous of the natural placements that the prophets have, that the high priestess have, right? That Sophia has. Lilith energy. Lilith, she's the type to destiny swap, right? She wants to destiny swap with the high priestess because she knows her energy is at the bottom of the bottom, and in order, the only way that she would even be able to somewhat mimic the high priestess or Sophia's energy is to cipher and steal it, right? And this is what she does. She does this as well through the divine masculine. Lilith likes to steal the divine masculine seed. So this is men who happen to have children with women who are very bitter, never and will never grow, probably will die, like in that type of energy, right? Where they're very like they use the child, they destroy the man's seed. They're harvesting after the man's seed to then destroy the child, because they know that this masculine is a godly man, a divine masculine, and it's basically a war on the seed of that masculine, because if it's like if she knows that she cannot get to that masculine, if she knows that she cannot harvest or take from that masculine, she's going to then create a child with him so that she can cipher everything she needs to cipher from that child, right? And would then also treat the child badly or not as good because of the fact that the masculine energy is not around. So it's like she only has the child's energy to feed off of, right? She basically sexually steals energy as well. These are women who are very, very promiscuous, who throws themselves on you, almost like take the man's like manhood, right? She has a really perverted type of energy to her as well. In her, like she has a very dark demonic energy to her as well. Her goal is to destroy everything in her pathway, right? She keeps the divine masculine like in a prison state of mind, and she feeds off of him while doing this. Even if she's nowhere near this masculine anymore, she still has a hold on this masculine spiritually to where she's just feeding off of his energy. He's depleting. I feel like in my dream state last night, they were showing me the masculine's energy being depleted by Eve's and Lilith energy, and how the high priestess are needing to rise. Sophia is needing to rise, so that way we can awaken the masculines to what they're dealing with, right? And so they can fight these battles for themselves, because these are their lessons to learn. We've already been through these cycles. We know these cycles. We understand the energy properly, right? And our only goal is to awaken our masculine to what the hell is going on, so that he can rise within himself in power, and he can actually be who he needs to be for this realm and this earth, right? And Lilith will let you treat her how the fuck ever. Like, Lilith will literally let the divine masculine treat her however, because she needs to keep that masculine there to cipher the energy from the high priestess. So this is the type of woman to allow you to walk over her and do her however, because she doesn't like the spiritual essence of her. She's already dark and demonic-ish anyway. And when I say this, I don't want to demonize dark and demonic energy, because we all carry these attributes and traits to us. Each woman has Eve, each woman has Lilith in her, each woman has Sophia in her, each woman has the high priestess in her as well. Again, you have rankings. If you cannot unlock this within your vessel, you would never reach that milestone, or you would never reach your next phase of who you're supposed to be or become as a woman. And the man would never reach his next phase neither, because he has women, the Eve and the Lilith, keeping him at a certain space, because she's trying to literally it's her job to keep her away from the divine woman, the high priestess, the Sophia, right? And she also hates women. She whispers in masculine's ear deceptive things and temptational things to keep him from God, right? Sophia, she is the mother. She's the nurturer. Her energy, she like knows all. She's wise as well, right? She's godly. She's first she's God, right? Woman. She's a God woman, the creator of the universe. She controls everything, the mother of all mothers, even Lilith, right? And the high priestess. But Eve, Lilith, and the high priestess sometimes as well attacks Sophia, right? And they fall in their power because of this, right? The reason of why they're attacking her is because there are things within themselves that they have not fully healed yet, and if they're not seeing that they need to heal these attributes in order to become the Sophia, they will continue to fall, because Sophia is going to destroy. You either rise, or if she sees that you're only rising up to attack, she's literally going to destroy you. You must come correct to the Sophia, right? Right. Right. So at the end of the day, it's like, who is she? Who is the woman? Who is the woman that you're dealing with now? Because we go through the different, and keep in mind, there's the thing as a destiny swap. So Eve and Lilith have a thing where they will mimic Sophia's and the high priestess energy, right, in order to trap the masculine. And then once the masculine is in his loop, in her loop and cycle, she's at this point somewhat able to mimic and live within the high priestess or Sophia's energy because of the divine masculine, right? It's not until the divine masculine wakes up and snatches the high priestess and Sophia's energy from Eve, and until Sophia and the high priestess wakes up to herself and wakes up to Lilith and Eve trying to cipher her energy as well. It's not until the divine masculine and the divine woman wakes up together to fight against these energies, right? To battle these energies. So yeah, that's the gist and the sum of that. Know which woman you are, know how you're coming, and know that it doesn't matter. Once you recognize the placement that you're in, your goal is to rise, right? Your only goal is to rise. Is not to be fixated or focused on the next woman in her placement. It's to literally just focus on you, so that way you can literally rise within your power and become equally or even greater than, you know? If you try it in any other way, you will be basically destroyed. Like, this is facts. You feel me? So it's like, it's best to just do it godly, divinely, orchestratedly, according to the universe. No ordinary love is playing. So nothing. You see this? It has, even in the afterlife, the divine masculine and divine feminine are always together. Nothing can break these energies apart. Nothing can split these energies. It's funny because I was watching The Blood of Zeus, and one of the quotes that they always say to each other, when it's true love, nothing can keep. When it's true love, nothing can keep it apart. Or when it's true love, nothing can keep us apart. Right? That's what Hades and his wife would say to each other. Right? And keep in mind, Hades was someone of the underworld. Hades was, I think it's Hades. Hera and Hades, I think that's it. Anyway, she basically, he was of the underworld. He was someone who was more of a darker energy. And his wife was of the upper world. She was of light. She was of more of like the godly type of energy, right? But they were married. And they are a prime example of how they needed each other. She needed his darkness, he needed her light, right? She was the only one who could really just kind of, it's like she never judged him. She allowed him to be him. She allowed him to be within his darkness and not necessarily judge him for it, right? She loved him, he loved her. So that's symbolic in some way as well. But he was still a godly man. He was still someone who was looked at as very, very freaking high ranking in the underworld, you know? So it's like, for some of you guys, that's what you guys can be dealing with here. One of you guys come from the underworld and one of you guys come from the upper world. And it's like, you guys are merging spirits and souls. She visits the underworlds at times, and he can visit the light world at times as well, but neither of them can stay in each other's aura field for too long because they reside in two different areas. So he resides in the underworld and darkness, and she resides in the light, but they balance each other out regardless, right? So yeah, I hope that this helped and resonated with whoever it needed to resonate with. Know that we are growing, we are healing, we are learning, and that's all we can do.